let loose there, if you know what I mean.
I've been working here for 7 years. Don't even try to argue with me because you're not gonna win.
And this guy spits on my friend and drags him by the collar up.
Oh, Mom, I'm in prison. For defending my friend from a racist German guy.
Could you imagine? I don't have an intro yet, so in the meantime, here's an animation that I made 3 years ago. Yeah, it's an animatic. I'll make an animated intro eventually. I had to sacrifice my pride and do something horrible, horrendous, atrocious, torturous in order to afford food in Germany. I had to work fast food. Now, I shouldn't really be complaining because I only lasted 2 months at the job before a golden opportunity presented itself, landed on my lap, so, I could quit right away and be fine with it. That's what you think, right? But no, I worked 2 months at the
Buorgiru Kingu.
and I already have stories, plural, to tell you. You know how there's a stereotype of public toilets being absolute monstrosities of public lack of decency and shame? Like, you'll see some crazy stuff in public toilets. People really let loose there, if you know what I mean. Food poisoning? The thing you get when you eat at fast food? Like, what you expect? It can taste good, but your body knows it isn't. I was on toilet cleaning duty once, and only once. And this one time, the first toilet was fine. So I was like, oh, you know what? This isn't gonna be that bad. I can see myself doing this more often. But the second bowl over, I witnessed lateral splashes everywhere. The side of the bowl, the top of the bowl. I lifted the seat and the bottom of the bowl. Meaning someone had such bad food poisoning at the Buorgiru Kingu that their shit went sideways and up! Sideways and up! The updraft from the farts must have been devious. And the alternative, if, that wasn't the case, but it most likely is that the splashback caused a goddamn tsunami and it covered the bottom of the toilet seat. Mind you, this isn't when you have one of those really bad shits at home where, then you clean the toilet and you're like, nasty. It went up. No. It had like brown aged stains plus the fresh ones. Like it's a daily occurrence to do this. Needless to say, it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever had the displeasure of seeing. And I've seen plenty of disgusting things. At least the toxic as chemicals we used to clean, made light work maybe, of the dirt. And it smelled really good. But is that weird? Like the toxic smell? Like something that shouldn't smell good, but it does. For example, gasoline. Gasoline. Anyone else like the smell of gasoline? Anyone? Just me? Okay. You know how at easy, boring jobs like this, what usually makes or breaks the experience more than the people you work for is the people you work with. So it's not the customers. What makes or breaks your shift are your coworkers, the people taking the shift with you. Because even if you have the most annoying Karen, customer in front of you, at some point she's gonna leave. And when she leaves, who are you left with? Your coworkers. So if they don't slap, you ain't finna have a good time. Let's be honest. By this point, I was a month into working at Buorgiru Kingu. And I had basically met everyone, almost everyone, right? The Pokemon geek, the single mothers, the students, everyone was chill. But I look at the worksheet for the day when I came in, and it was on that day that I was reminded
of where the f*** I work.
そんな、あの壁は50メートルだぞ。やつだ。
I saw a new name. A name of a person I've never worked with before. I had no previous judgments. The Devourer! The fat guy from the Penetrator boss fight. Horizontally challenged. Land whale. I kid you not. This is how it went down. I walk up to the front, right? So first I stamp in. I walk up to the front. I see the new person. And I've never met her before. So I say, hello. And she says,
Oh, hi. By the way, before we even start, I want you to know that I've been working here for 7 years. And don't even try to argue with me because you're not gonna win.
Oh my God. She was obsessed with doing everything standard, right? And I was fine with that because I was taught standard, so I did standard. But then there was this one thing with the fries where she said, No, you can't use your fingers to open up the fries bag and then put the fries in. People don't want to eat your fingers. But then I'm like, you realize when we put the fries in the bag, bro, a bunch of fries ends up spilling anywhere and it touches your fingers and it goes right back in. And you know what? We use those fries anyway. So what is the difference? Another super goofy thing she did. She was so lazy, so fat that she would be tired of carrying her belly and she would lay it on top of the counters as she was doing cashier or giving the food or worrying about customer complaints. She would just literally grab her belly, put it on top of the counter, and then interact. She was too lazy to carry her own food, baby. And the entire time that she was bothering me and being lazy and yelling at me to do the job while she's just sitting there chilling, micromanaging me, even though she's not the manager. You work with me.
Help me! Help me!
She would constantly have this extremely fake smile, and after everything she said, and she didn't just do this to me, she did this to the customers as well, which I'm unbeknownst to me, I have no idea how those customers kept it cool, but she kept laughing, like fake laughing, like after every single thing she said. Like people will be like, yeah, so you got the combo, and then she'd be like,
No, we don't have that anymore.
like, girl, the man, whatever you are, you ain't cute. Needless to say, even though I only had a 6-hour shift that day with this destroyer of worlds, it felt like I had 12. It felt like 12. Time had never passed so slowly before in my entire life. Next is the funniest, the goofiest, but also the most surreal story. There was a goddamn fight. This was actually the last straw that even had I not gotten the opportunity that I did, which is thanks to that I managed to quit and be fine with it, I would have still quit after this. One night, a good night, a chill night, you know, it was in the middle of the week, so there weren't too many people. And the coworker I was working with was a buddy of mine. This night, 2 workers that weren't working currently, like 2 coworkers, came in with their respective girlfriends to eat. We dapped up and they ordered. After which, we kept on working. A little bit more people came in and they had faster orders, so we worked on their orders first.
Yeah, can I get a fucking,
After a while, since, you know, there were a lot of people, my coworker friends that were also friends with the coworker I was currently working with made a joke like, how long till the food is done? Like pretend rushing us, you know? And we smiled it off, said, it's coming! Shut up! Something like that. There was this massive, stereotypical German guy, tall, blonde, wife beater, you know, the default Allman in Germany, with his girlfriend, sitting diagonally across from our coworker friends, waiting on their food. And to give you some context, my coworker friends, they're like Arab, like Muslim, right? The guy I was working with was also Muslim, and I'm Filipino, so I'm also an Ausländer. And the guy loudly proclaimed as he turned to my friend, stand up and ask at the counter. And then my friend returned, bro, take a chill pill. He's my friend. We work here together.
I don't care! Get the f up and ask there, you rude piece of shit!
Huh? What stick do you have up your ass? The arguing continued. I wasn't sure exactly what they were saying because I was still working, but I was listening in every once in a while. And I kid you not, amongst the arguing, this guy stood up and posted as if he was gonna hit my friend. And he deadass went like this. You're so lucky. You're so lucky. Like a goddamn man-child. Meanwhile, my friend was stone cold. Chama. He was stone cold, sitting down, clapping back. I look away to continue working for 5 seconds. And this guy spits on my friend and drags him by the collar up. Mind you, throughout this, my friend was stone cold, chama chilling. Again, like I said, sitting down, spitting facts, clapping back. You know, eating this guy alive in front of his girlfriend. And this juiced up crackhead was tweaking out, you know, overcompensating and everything. Needless to say, they start fighting, obviously. And I, because I'm not a bitch, come to help. You see, this guy was spouting a bunch of racist shit the entire time to my friend. And frankly, I'm an Ausländer as well. I'm half German and half Filipino. But German just in residence. In reality, I'm fully Filipino. And I've been bullied before. Like, I've had racist people in my life before. I've suffered it. And let me tell you something. I fucking hate racist people. Just don't be racist. Genuinely racist people. So I came in and there was a brawl. I swung for my friend and he swung for himself too. The girls started catfighting. It was quite funny actually. Eventually, we kick his ass out and call the cops. He also calls the cops, but he wasn't going to do anything because it was on camera that as he was fighting back, he also hurt my coworkers' and friends' respective girlfriends. So he was not going to win that fucking case, was he? Then after a bit, you know, we kept working. I had to clean up the shit. And, you know, because there was Coke and fucking burgers and lettuce everywhere, the cops eventually pulled up. They went to the security room, like where the manager always hangs out, in the back of the...
Buorgiru Kingu.
And they download the security camera footage. Now, while I clean, I'm scared that I might get a call because I swung, so... And I was in uniform, so that's double bad. And I thought I'm cooked. I thought, oh, I was gonna have to tell my mom.
Oh, Mom, I'm imprisoned. For defending my friend from a racist German guy.
Could you imagine? Luckily, I didn't end up getting a call. And then I decided to quit because I didn't want to get jumped by this guy. This guy knows where I work. And he said he was gonna come back with his boys. Like, you know, an empty threat that fucking juiced up crackheads make. Right? To give you some context. I fight. But this guy, if he decided to jump me with his friends because of how fucking huge he is, I'd be cooked. The second you need to fight more than one person, my jiu-jitsu goes straight out of the window. And I would need to rely only on my judo, which wasn't that good at the time, but it's better now. And so I decided, you know what, I need to quit because this place is dangerous. I never hang out there except for when I went to work anyway, so I knew for a fact that if I didn't go to this
Buorgiru Kingu
to work, he wouldn't ever see me again. And so I quit. Then along the way, there were also a bunch of miscellaneous stories. Like one time the ice cream machine exploded on my manager as she was trying to clean it. And then I crossed eyes with my manager for 1 millisecond and I had to clean it. Another time during rush hour, I spilled the salt. Like I had to fill up the salt because it was empty. And when I flipped it over, it spilled everywhere. But because it spilled into the little container that holds the salt sprayer, I just left it there like it was fine. After that, luckily, after sending 5 emails over the course of my working there, I got a response from one. I got a new video editing client. Whoop whoop. And yeah, now I'm a full-time video editor. But honestly, I hope my YouTube can work because I like editing and all. However, I would still rather make my own content than other people's. By the way, guys, real quick as a disclaimer, I didn't actually hate
Buorgiru Kingu
that much. And you know, most of the people I worked with were fine. And I know that I shouldn't really be knocking people for doing whatever they gotta do to make their money. I understand. I'm not gonna knock people for trying to feed their families. I just find it funny that in the 2 months of working there, I have already so many funny stories to tell. Anyway, if you did like the video, please make sure to like and subscribe because this took so freaking long to make. Newfound respect for people that are storytime animators. Oh God, this took so long!